What's special about South African cheese is the fact that there's nothing to compare it to. There's no history really of South African cheese making, so we're starting from square one essentially and able to be quite creative without being compared to anything. There's not many cheese countries in Africa. There's free reign to do whatever you want, and cheesemakers can create whatever they want to do. There's a lot of the great cheeses in South Africa are also goat's cheeses, and smelly cheeses. New cheesemakers are now making a range of interesting washed rind cheeses, which are kind of seen as artisan cheeses in Europe, but they've been pushing it much more here recently and creating more interesting bries that aren't so mild but a bit more smelly. A lot of unpasteurized cheese as well, so cheeses that really tell the story of the terroir of where the animals have been grazing. And the cheesemakers are getting more interested in the bacterial addition to the cheese making and the chemistry behind it and what makes an interesting cheese and how to mature a cheese. So what we add to the South African tourism experience is a place where people can come and they can sit down and they can eat, they can try the cheeses at the counter, they can have a platter where they're spoken through the cheeses that are on the platter, and they can get something that they can't get anywhere else in the whole of Africa, in fact. So you can create your own platter. So there's platters on the menu, but you can add to that as well. And we get what's new, and we age cheeses here as well. So we mature them on longer so that they're tastier. We also wash them. So washed rind cheeses make them a bit smellier. And we create our own fresh cheeses as well. So for a tourist to come here, they'll taste lots and lots of different types of South African cheeses: cow's milk, goat's milk, sheep's milk, and stuff that you just can't get anywhere else. Entrepreneurs could emulate what we've done by focusing. I mean, Cape Town in particular is very good with food. It's a huge foodie magnet. People come here because of the good life, because of the good weather, and because of the good food. So life's a bit tougher in other parts of Africa, and you can come here and you can really enjoy yourself. So I'd say focus on the food mainly. People are particularly picky about what they want to eat. So be knowledgeable and have delicious food. I think creating a scene is really important, creating a new area, because Cape Town has got pockets of wonderful things going on. It doesn't have a massive CBD, so creating an area that people want to come is really important. So having neighbours next to you that bounce off you is only a good thing. When I was working in a cheese shop in London, the cheese shop owner was always saying you must have a butcher near you, and must have a supermarket near you if you have a cheese shop, because it's really important that people are going to go to them for that produce and go to you for that produce. So having a place that specialises in meat next door to us is wonderful, because when people go there and they'll sit down and then they'll come next door and they'll check out the cheese place and go, wow, look at this incredible selection, that's something they haven't seen before. And then they'll come and sit down and eat our food and try us out and tell people about it. The challenges that we've faced are creating a market for ourselves. There's nobody making cheese and selling cheese and having such a selection and having a restaurant that focuses on cheese. So it's a whole new thing. So in South Africa, a lot of people think of cheese as a bulk item. So getting people away from the supermarket cheese and more to do with the small production handmade cheeses that have been made with love and care, and the animals have been well looked after and fed properly, is something that's tricky, and people have been very receptive about it, and so that's something that we've had to overcome for sure. Travelling around South Africa was incredibly important for this business, not just for me learning about the cheesemakers, but also being able to tell any customer that comes in about who's making the cheese, how are they making the cheese, where are they making the cheese, how are they looking after their animals. The story has to add up, not just for us, but also for the customers. So we want to be informative, and you can't really be informative without meeting somebody and talking to them and learning from them. We've got maybe 80 to 100 cheeses currently in the shop, but I saw more than double that travelling around South Africa, more than double that cheese making wise for the cheese makers. and a lot of cheeses themselves as well. So thousands of cheeses being made, and tasted them. Going to little areas that 100 miles away from anywhere else, and then suddenly you've got this oasis of green and animals, and these lovely people are making cheese and really trying to make something different as well. Is an amazing way of seeing a country. It's kind of focusing on something very particular and then travelling around and meeting people is just a great thing to do. Being proud of South African cheese and pushing South African cheese is very important to us. And being the place that you come to ask questions and be trusted in what's the best. So we also supply restaurants, and the restaurants come particularly to us because they want to know what's best right now. 2 months ago I was judging at the South African Cheese Awards, tasting hundreds of cheese, and yeah, there's some amazing cheeses out there.